That was troops, spread my wings. Bridgewater, New Jersey, a mall in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Two kids are fighting, as kids often do. A young white kid and a black kid. Now, I can't tell you how the fight started, but I can tell you at the time the police arrived, both boys were fighting. The police got there. They sit the white kid on the bench and the black kid. One police officer goes to arrest him, handles him roughly, throws him on the stomach, knee in the back, and starts to handcuff him. The other cop leaves the other potential assailant on the bench alone and starts assisting with the black kid. During the whole time of the tape, we never saw them engage with the other participant in the fight. He was just sitting on the bench as if nothing happened. I can't tell you what precipitated it. I can't tell you what went on before we saw the video. I can tell you this, that the moment the police officers arrived, they had in their minds who they believe was the culprit. They had in their minds who they believed is the culprit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a stark example of implicit bias. I already know, sight unseen, no evidence, not talking to anybody, that have already formed their opinion that this person right here is the problem. Despite what everybody's saying around them, despite what the tape revealed. At the very least, both of them, if they were going to put somebody in handcuffs, both of them should have been in handcuffs. But why the black kid? Tamir Rice, a young black kid walking down the street. There is a call saying, to 911 saying there's a guy walking down the street, but I think it's a kid and I think it's a toy. Within 6 seconds of pulling out, no warning, nothing, Tamir Rice is shot. We have a Tatiana Jefferson. There is a wellness check. They call. They hadn't seen the neighbor in a while. They go in Fort Worth. The police come to do a wellness check. She is playing video games at 2:30 in the morning with her nephew. She is shot because something about black skin that makes police officers feel a certain way, and also act a certain way. Generally, when they show up and they see black people involved, which one of these niggas am I going to shoot or take to jail? Now, both of those men in Bridgewater, New Jersey, both of those boys were fighting. At the very least, they both should have been in handcuffs if it were going to be called for that. At the very least, they both should have been questioned, but that's not what happened. As a matter of fact, there's an investigation now to see if, in fact, it was what everybody believed it to be, implicit bias. And that is how it plays out over and over again. Before you utter a word, before you ask a question, before you interview anybody, you already know who the problem is. And it happens over and over and over again. And the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is there's no way to train that out of somebody. There's no way to suss that out. It is ingrained in them. There is a way to fire it out of them. There is a way to know it exists. There is a way to remove them from that situation. But implicit bias makes its way in policing and several aspects of our lives. But in policing in particular, it is a very dangerous thing. When a police officer, sight unseen, not having any questions, makes the assumption that this must be the problem and they have to be dealt with this way. It happens over and over again. Now, I'd be hard-pressed to believe that what I saw with my own eyes wasn't, in fact, what happened. If, like I said earlier, I don't know what precipitated the fight. I don't know how it started. I don't know what went on, in the parking lot or in other stores. I do know this. When the police officer got there, they were determined to get this nigga in line. And she left the suspect. One thing for sure, if you have two people doing something, you better make sure that both of them are right, because you don't know what the other guy's going to be doing. That white kid sat on the bench unattended. He could have walked away. And they kept that black kid in handcuffs for 30 minutes because before they talked to anybody, this nigga did it. And that is how it plays out over and over and over again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the starkest example of what a lot of black people deal with all the time. Because officers of the law already see our skin as criminal, already know the deal. They don't need to talk to anybody, whether you call it a spider sense or cop sense, or I got a sense about that. It's them. They're always the problem. It was always them. And the sad thing about it is when you hear this young boy and his mother speak, you can tell they're very articulate. They're very well heeled. So it can't be. I guarantee you, the image that the police officer had in his head wasn't what he heard speaking. It wasn't the parent he talked to. Justice in America I want to say justice is supposed to be blind. Justice is supposed to be blind. But I swear that broad has a unique ability to see black and brown skin. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.